in a stage of my life now where I need to whip it out, you know? It's not a thing.
You do sometimes.
What did Daniel Negreanu mean by that? Well, it has to do with this tweet from over a month ago now where Alan Keating called him out, saying that he'd love to see @RealKidPoker play the $1 million game, pointing out if he will play slow and tight and run from tough decisions like a lot of the big names, and how will those famous hand reading skills play when the pot's $1 million hard cash. Really, some people can handle being in uncharted territory $1 million deep, battling man-to-man, while others want to limit their exposure to a tournament buy-in and prefer the safe, structure, and predictable situations their comfort blanket short stacks provide. Damn! It's two different games, two different types of people, but he is invited. This wasn't just a challenge, it was provocative, condescending, and very clearly throwing shade. At the time, Daniel did not respond. The Hustler Casino Live $1 million game went forward without him. But later, Daniel finally addressed it on his podcast with his wife Amanda. But the way he tiptoed around even saying Keating's name, you'd think it was cursed like Voldemort from Harry Potter.
We do not speak his name.
Actually, this is the only time I've even acknowledged it. And I like the guy, by the way.
I actually didn't want you to acknowledge it.
No, I didn't. But I mean, I like him actually a lot. I think he's really cool.
Who was
the guy who put the post out? I think he's really cool.
We can't say his name?
Well, Keating. Yeah. So if it's like me calling him out and say, you know what? I think it's time we played Stud 8 or better. Heads up.
For $1
like,
million.
Yeah. Like what? He's like, well, I've never played Stud 8. I'm like, well, so you know, like it's not my thing. I'm like, well, I don't know.
Along with this, Negreanu points out the fact that Keating is only calling him out for attention.
When other people want to make a name for themselves, what they often do is they target you. They'll often tag me. They'll often use me. They'll loop me into something to get more eyeballs on their stuff.
Yeah, Daniel also reflects and points out the positive side of being called out, which I really, really like.
Thing is like, as I got older, you know, I started to like take it as a sign of respect and honor.
Right.
Like, okay, so you were literally calling me out of all people. Why? Why me?
Yeah.
Right? Why me? Because you want to get the most amount of eyeballs on this, right?
And finally, that he has been there and done that when it comes to cash games.
Like when I was young, people don't realize when I started in this business, I played cash games, right? As my job so that I could afford tournaments.
Yeah.
Because that was fun. So I would play noon to 8, 10, 20 limit hold'em. Then at night, there'd be these $20 tournaments and I'd go play those and then, you know, rinse, repeat. I just loved it. You've got 30 years of me playing deep stack, high stakes. High stakes poker was a show that I'd buy in for $1 million all the time. And, you know, I got my ass kicked.
They want you.
Of course I do, but I know why they call me. But I thought some of the stuff was like, wait a minute, you want to see how I would react because you've never seen it before? Like, what do you mean?
It helps them get eyes on them.
Yeah, of course.
All of the points Daniel makes are extremely valid, but as Doug Polk also points out, Daniel's past results in cash games has not been pretty.
Here for Daniel Negreanu, we can see his graph. It's not too pretty. Starting in 2007, he ended up losing about $2.7 million before clawing back some of those losses for a net result of minus $2 million.
Doug also floated a theory. Maybe Keating's tweet was a strategic setup, a way to build hype.
Here's my theory. This is already planned. In fact, Negreanu is already confirmed to the game. And this is a way of building hype through Alan Keating. Now, I can't say that for sure. I don't know either of them that well. But I can say it feels a little weird for Alan to be tweeting like this. In my book, I think you can already count on Daniel being there. And if I'm wrong, I guess nothing happens. Because this is a YouTube video.
Doug was, in fact, wrong. Daniel was not there. And also, nothing happened.
You know, even Doug did a video saying like, oh, is he going to go? This is all planned and all. It's not. I'm not playing. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people think that I'm going to show up last minute. Yeah. Here's a secret. No, I'm not. Okay. Yeah. I'm not playing.
But to touch on his point about Keating's reasoning behind this, I agree. It doesn't make a lot of sense. With Keating getting so much attention recently and seemingly becoming a bigger name in poker as each month passes, was it necessary? I do think Keating could have just as easily challenged Negreanu in an inviting manner without the aggressive tone, but I also don't think it's all that big of a deal, and in truth, the more drama, the better. When punching up, it is a great strategy, and as we have recently seen with Peter, Keating is not one to shy away from rivalries, but taking on legend Daniel Negreanu? That's quite the step up. Will Keating be what Doug Polk and Negreanu once were only a few years ago now? I certainly hope so.
If the rake is too high, it's
said that in my life. What a bomba I've never said that in my life. Me not smoke no ganja. I've never said that in my life. I smoke it. Me not no problem with it. I've never said that in my life.
I think Keating is a stronger player than many casual viewers may think, so it would be amazing to see him take on Negreanu. Now, when considering the other side, that is Daniel Negreanu's reaction, it is worth noting how defensive it is. He really chose to say he is above playing in games like the ones Hustler Casino Live puts on.
First of all, I don't like to travel, right? We know that. Even though LA is not that far. Like, to go there to play in $1 million cash game, I don't give a fuck about.
I know.
At all. And like, what am I trying to... So I guess ultimately, and then I read the thing and it's like...
What are you trying to prove?
What's
Nothing.
he going to...
Even as more recent, just days ago, describing the opponent's Keating plays as, quote, blind guys, which is honestly just pretty funny.
I saw him call me out. It was kind of cute. But you know what I'd like to see him do? I'd like to see you, Alan, step out of your comfort zone and sit with Chidwick and Kuhn and Mateos and Bajikowski and Martirosian and play cash with them one day instead of 5 random blind guys. Maybe let's just... I think that's what the world wants to see. You against really, really good players. Good luck.
With that, maybe Negreanu is starting to play along at least a little bit. He could lean into Keating's trash talk instead of acting like it's beneath him, as I think that's where his underlying beliefs are still at. Daniel actually responded to a comment on his podcast where someone calls HCL shady with a similar tone saying, quote, I watched it last night and my goodness, that is not what top poker looks like, to say the least. That is a pretty harsh review of the biggest poker stream on the planet. When I sat down with HCL owner Ryan Feldman, I asked him about dream guests he has yet to get, and D-Negs was number one.
You've gotten everyone in poker except maybe
Negreanu. Yeah.
I've kind of seen him reference, I don't know. He watched Nick Airball once on Poker Go, on a Poker Go stream. And he referenced Nick Airball was laughing as gaggling. And he's like, oh, I watched the stream, but I had to mute it because there was so much gaggling. So it kind of makes me think maybe he's turned off from these types of live streams. I mean, all the other high name pros have done it.
No, I think he'll come, but we're cool. I just was talking to him the other day here, and he was joking about the fact that he's like, you never invite me.
Okay.
But we always do. But for him, it's just he lives in Vegas. Poker Go's easy to go to. He's not a cash game guy. He likes tournaments. That's it. If he's going to travel, he just wants to go to tournaments. He doesn't like traveling in general. Mm-hmm. That's all it is. It's just when you got that much money, it's what's the point, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think he'll come eventually. I think we'll keep asking him and eventually he'll come.
Yeah, keep poking.
Despite the cold shoulder Negreanu has appeared to give HCL, I do believe he will play on the show one day, but has Keating's call out helped or worsened those odds? The potential Negreanu versus Keating matchup is certainly starting to get more attention as we see yet another big name in poker comment, that is casino owner Rob Young. Here he is responding to comments and voicing the interesting dynamic between the two. I'm pretty sure Daniel would be a massive winner in VIP cash games, but wouldn't get in many. And actually, Alan would adjust versus better players. He gives a lot of action in VIP games because that's what he likes to do. Alan is a great player in my opinion. Here's where things get really interesting. Just recently, when Poker News caught up with Keating at the WSOP, he revealed that he specifically entered the 25K Heads Up Championship because he saw Negreanu's name on the list. Quote, all right, here's my chance to find him in his streets, Keating said. Now that's just not trolling anymore, that's a man showing up on your turf. Keating also commented on Negreanu's response to his callout. Quote, he offered me a horrible deal. I offered him a chance to play against guys like me, guys he says can hardly play poker, and he came back with an offer to play all the superstars. I don't really know what he is thinking, but it doesn't mean I'm afraid to come here and play them. With that, Keating is not backing down. Despite busting the Heads Up event early, he is confirmed he'll be playing the 250K and 100K high rollers this summer. Respect to Alan Keating for putting his money where his mouth is, stepping outside of his cash game street comfort zone and playing tournaments that in the past he has found to be extremely boring. So who is in the right here? Well, I don't think it's so simple. There is nuance. Daniel Negreanu feels like he has done it all. He's got nothing left to prove. Alan Keating, on the other hand, wants to drag him back into the fire and see if he can still hang in today's deep-stacked, high-stake cash games. One sees it as a pointless flex, the other sees it as unfinished business. Daniel did just nearly win his 7th WSOP bracelet, so maybe he is best served ignoring any noise from Keating and focusing on his mission, that is winning tournaments.
in 2002, 2003, I used to play in games that were 4,000, 8,000 limit.
Right.
100K, no limit flips and whatever. Like, you know, you could $1 million swings.
How
I did
exciting is that?
Yeah, I did that when I was young.
I love that
right?
shit.
I did it because it was exciting back then.
Yeah,
You know?
you don't
And then-
need to do it now.
No, I like to play tournaments. I enjoy it. Playing cash games, especially if you want to just play 2-card, no limit hold'em, shoot me in the head.